Hey everybody, back with Larry McKenna lesson number 6. So Larry was dealing with polychords in this lesson, and again, I'm not exactly sure. Some of the order is on these lessons is a little bit off. I actually skipped something that I talked about before, so I figured it would be redundant to do another video. So this one, polychords, he gave me one page, and he was talking about, the idea was, what are things, triads that I could put over dominant chords. So here's the whole page. So the triad is over top of the actual dominant chord. So the dominant chord would be an A7. There's my A7. And then the triad, F sharp triad. Beautiful sound. So that ends up being an A flat 13. No, that's an A13 with a flat 9. Then the next one, a B triad over the A7. Woo, love that sound too. Okay, an F triad over A7. Love it. Beautiful sound. C triad over A7. That one. Man, that's a beautiful sound right there. Okay, and then finally an E flat triad over A7. Okay, I extended the voicing from what it is on the page. And then, in typical Larry fashion, he gives a line at the bottom. Now, the line he gives at the bottom is only for that first A13 flat 9, the F sharp over the A. But check out the line. Okay, killer. Just great lines there. And I've used, I've stolen this and used this a lot. Okay, so Larry gave these polychords, but where do they actually come from and what chord scales could we use? Glad you asked. So Larry would have extended this lesson, and I'm sure he did. Probably just didn't write it out at this point. But this F sharp, let's go one chord at a time. The A7, the A13 flat 9, which is basically the first one, the F sharp triad over the A7. The chord scale, this triad comes from if I was doing the diminished scale over A. Now, I told you before, if you have a dominant chord with a flat 9, so A7 flat 9, use the half whole diminished. So the diminished scale would be A, half step above, B flat, whole step, C, D flat, E flat, E, F sharp, A, G, A. Now, within that scale are triads. So let's go with the first triad that's within that scale. There's my A major triad. Makes sense because it's the root. Now, let's go. There's my C. A C major triad is also there. That's a minor third above A. Let's go up another minor third, an E flat triad. That's also in that scale. And then a minor third above E flat, G flat, or as Larry spelled it, F sharp. But all those triads appear in this half whole diminished scale. And that's where we get that first sound. And actually where we're going to get a couple of other triads. Okay, so that's where the A13 flat 9 F sharp triad comes from this half hold diminished. Okay, so how about the next one? Now I've got an A9 or A13 sharp 11. So if I have A13 sharp 11, the assumption is going to be that now it's a natural 9. So if it was an A13 flat 9, that would be listed in the nomenclature, meaning that the way the chord is named. But this one, he has a B triad over top of an A. Okay, well, this is a pretty popular chord. And let me give you an application. Take the A train. There's my A13 with a sharp 11. Or the B major triad over the A7. Okay, pretty standard. Girl from Ipanema. Two dominant chord. But anytime you've got a dominant chord that's a 13 with a sharp 11, it's going to have a natural 9. Well, most of the time, it's going to have a natural 9. So this is where he gets this B triad over top of A7. Now, the chord scale that I would use with this that he showed me is when I have a natural 9 on a dominant chord, I go to the 5th degree, E, and I use that melodic minor. And that B major triad is within that scale. Okay, how about the next one? A7 with an F over top. Okay, well this sound immediately. Sharp 5, sharp 9. Now if I have a sharp 9, the implication is I can definitely have a flat 9. Sharp 9, flat 9. Okay. Sharp 5, sharp 9, great sound. The chord scale that I immediately think of with this would be altered, or with Larry, as soon as I saw sharp 9 and I assumed it was a sharp 9 with a flat 9 and a sharp 5, I think go up a half step from the root and play that melodic minor or jazz minor. So that would be a B flat. That F major triad is contained within that scale. So B flat melodic minor. Now what is that scale essentially? It's an A altered scale. And I didn't, oh wait, yeah I did. So that's where that sound comes from. Now, the next one, the C over A7, well, that's going to be the same application as what the F sharp was, because the C, as I told you before, is a triad within that half hold diminished scale. So this A7 sharp 9. Now, since it's a sharp 9, I could also go up a half step and use that altered. But the issue with that altered is the E natural is not in there. Because the altered has a sharp 5. Or flat 5, I guess. Yeah. Well, it has both of them. Anyway, the best one that would get that sound would be the half hold diminished. Now, the last one, you actually have two choices on. So the last one, the E flat over the A7, could be that same diminished that we talked about. Because all of those notes for the E flat triad come from that half hold diminished scale. But it also could be in that A altered scale. So you have either this one or this one. Only one note is different, and it's a minute difference. But the application and implications of it could be big. But again, that's where the sound comes from. But polychord wise, this totally opened up my ears to hear this. I love this sound. And I'm just resolving it to a D. So polychords, great things to practice. Larry just wanted to open my ears to these sounds, and boy, he used them all the time. But these triads are great ways to be playing, to improvise over dominant chords. So not just scales, not just chord scales, but the triads that are contained in the chord scales. Beautiful sounds. It allows for more air too, like more room to breathe within your lines because you're adding space in the lines. Kind of an esoteric thought at the end here, but there you go. Polychords, Larry lesson number 6. All right, hope it helps.